Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here with my review for Voltron Season 6. Definitely a heck of a season. Good 6 episodes. I believe it was just 6 this time since they've been doing our super short episodes. Definitely fun season. Really crazy. As usual, surprise, surprise, Keith is like the coolest character ever. He gets to age 2 years and he gets like a teleporting cosmic space wolf, which was like the sweetest thing ever. So I just thought that was super cool. A sweet design too. I love the design for the wolf. It was like, of course, he gets to, he's the dude who's like half alien and he gets the cool sword that can change shape. He gets a crazy cool wolf. I guess the aging thing is cool, I guess, depending on your perspective of age and feeling old or whatever. I was like, man, that is so crazy. Like, he just gets all this cool stuff. We go through this history of what happened with his mom and how she ended up on Earth and how it was actually just totally random. It wasn't that she knew they were going for that they found the blue lion. It was just they was like, no, we kind of just put spies all over the place and surprise, surprise, I just happened to be there. So that's how she ended up on Earth, and she was stranded until another group of Gaurans came along, and then she took them down, and that's when she escaped. And it's like, well, I gotta get back to the war. So it was pretty crazy. It was like, wow, it's a really cool story. And then because of the weird area that they were in, dealing with like the time waves and all that, they end up, aging 2 years as everyone else is kind of just living, in normal time. It was pretty interesting. But they go off, they do their mission, pretty, until like the very end, still separated from everybody because it had been such a long time. I thought this was going to be the season, but it's going to be next season where everyone is finally back together, including mostly Keith kind of rejoining the team. But yeah, it was nuts. Lotor up and down with this dude. It was like, okay, so he's the bad guy. He comes in, he doesn't want to, be his father, but he's still the villain. Then it's like, surprise, he's actually going to be one of the good guys. And then it turns out he's been the bad guy this whole time, of course. And there have been a bunch of Alteans who have been hidden off on this other, in this other area. And then some of them he would take, and I would assume it was basically they have a bunch of quintessence, and that's why he took like the strongest ones. And then he was draining them of their life force, and it was just like, wow, this dude is like the worst. So he gets the worst treatment ever, where they have this insanely cool Voltron v mech battle. Like his, I don't know why, but I was like, oh, that's sweet. It has a tail. That was like the dumbest thing. But when I saw it, I was just like, that's so cool. I just thought it was sweet. But they have this great fight, and then they go into the other dimension, and it's just nuts. It's like they're starting to get angrier and angrier, and then they realize, oh crap, we have to get out of here, otherwise we'll just become evil. We'll basically turn into our greatest foe, Zarkon. And then they leave Lotor there, where it's like, dang, I don't know what to think of that, because I don't know officially with the way they kind of did it. It's like, all right, well, considering the history of the series, I wouldn't be surprised if they found some way, or if specifically Lotor somehow, even though he's just in like this vast nothingness, found a way to escape. Like technically, it's not like they killed him; they just kind of made him go crazy and banished him like for an eternity of suffering. But an eternity is a long time to find freedom. So I'm very curious how that's gonna play out and what's gonna happen when he comes back. We still, I mean, man, like it's crazy, just so short, but a lot of stuff happened. We still don't know what in the world's gonna happen with Hagar. Like she was just like, my son is returned, and like, holy crap, that's your mom, and he's like, F that, and he tries to kill her, and then she's gone, and that was it. She disappeared, and there was nothing else of her in the season. I was like, that's a huge, just who knows. So at some point she has to come back. Of course, the stuff with Shiro was crazy, where they officially confirmed it, because I think for the past, I think 2 or 3 seasons, I've been like, I'm pretty sure this is gonna end up being a clone. So it's like, maybe it's a clone because when he gets up, he sees himself being experimented on. So this is probably a clone, and that's the real Shiro. And then in the last season, they reveal that Hagar can see through Shiro's eyes. So I was like, okay, so the clone thing again. And it's just like, well, how is this gonna play out? And then it's like, it's not just a clone that they made. They had like tons and tons of clones. They had the scene with Shiro trying to tell Lance something, and that kind of comes back with Keith, where they flat out say like, yeah, I died. It wasn't like a, whimsical essence. He's not a force ghost. He's dead. And that was pretty, it was like, I died, but the lion was attached to me, so it kept some of my essence. And that's what I tried to tell Lance, but it was just like this weird thing that didn't make sense to him. And now I kind of have you here. So Keith, this is what's going on. So that was pretty nuts. There was no, I mean, they were clones, but it was still like this weird thing, which I would love to know how they made clones of a guy that like vanished into nothing. Like he says, like I woke up here basically, and I didn't know what happened. It was like I died. So I'm like, well, how did they make all the clones? Were they like scraping DNA off the lion? But tons of clones. Shiro clone goes absolutely insane. Shiro versus Keith, definitely a great fight. Showed a lot of stuff with Keith where his eyes were changing. When he would like get really angry, his eyes would like change into the Gollum form, and I thought that was actually super cool. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna touch on that more, but I thought that was very cool. So that was a great fight sequence. The crazy scene with clone Shiro's arm just making a giant laser beam was nuts, and everybody's losing their mind, of course, because Keith told Shiro he loved him. But it was definitely a really great fight, and then he beats him, and then they all have to destroy the castle, which was insane, and it forms like all the pressure after it explodes forms this little diamond. So I don't know if they're going to recreate it or if it's somehow. I'm really curious what they're gonna do with that, because it's space is magic, so they could say like it contains all the knowledge that the palace once had is within this diamond. It's almost like its own universe or something super super weird, especially considering they've been traveling through universes. um it would be interesting to see how they kind of play with that. But the castle is destroyed. Shiro is resurrected. He gets full white hair. I don't know why, but it was just like, okay. And it just gave him like the full white hair when he gets resurrected, and Allura saves him. Lotor is potentially going to be banished for eternity to just go insane. His generals, they take off. They'll probably end up with Hagar again. Like, they're just all over the place. Like, even when he came in, it was like, are you with me? And they're, because I suck at names, I can't remember any of their names now, but his main general was always with him, and then the other two women were just like, okay, if you're cool, then we're cool. And then they leave him, and he basically ejector seats them, and then that's when he gets the full mech. So I'm like, they're somewhere. They're gonna do their thing. Maybe join up with Hagar again, and the palace is destroyed. Lotor is potentially stuck forever. We'll kind of see what happens there. Time travel and alternate dimensions, because they could just. It's an alternate dimension. They could say time is different. Any excuse they want to say he's still alive, they can pull it off with that. So it should be something. I'm definitely excited for the next season. I think this is the first time in a while where, unless I missed it because I didn't go like all far enough to the end, they didn't show when it was actually coming back this time. So I have to check that, because, like I said, I don't actually know for this one. But really enjoyed the season. Shot through it for sure. I felt like this one was, aside from the Dungeons and Dragons one, which was super funny. Sure, like I want to be a paladin again. But aside from that, I think everything was pretty much just like this super quick story. There weren't really any filler episodes aside from the Dungeons and Dragons one, which of course, like most fillers do, it leads to characters realizing how to do something, and it's like, oh crap, that was that thing, or this thing is done now after they played the game for a long time. But that was still a fun episode too. But I really enjoyed this season. I like how it was taking everything, I'd say the past, because I'm trying to remember when it started. I want to say it started at season 4, when they started to do like the super choppy thing where it was like 6 episodes really quick every couple of months. And I think this was, if they put them both together, of course, this would have been seasons 3 and 4. So I think this was a really cool season by itself, because it was basically the 6 episode culmination of a season and a half. So it was like you get a full season and a half, and then it's like, here's the second half of that. And so it was just all in game. So it definitely seemed really, really fun to me, because it was like, man, this is just like everything's happening here. This happens 2 years. Well, technically it wasn't a time skip. It was like a weird time bubble, but it was like a 2-year time skip for a character. Just all this other stuff was just going on. Lotor, extra reveals. Hagar still escaping, destroying the palace. So we're moving for sure into like a brand new arc with whatever comes next. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I would assume with the way it ended, although I was wrong before, when Lotor first came back, his dad came back at the end of that season, and that was when they first did the 6 episode thing, and I was like, oh, well, there's Zarkon, he's back again. So could be wrong. Lotor might be back super fast. But I assume going into this next season, it's going to be Hagar officially as the main villain, and maybe the generals, like I said, will end up working with her again. But I'm looking forward to where we're headed. I like the change. They're headed back to Earth. We've got, like I said, a singular time skip. We might get a full time skip, depending on how they do it. If they go right into, we're like halfway through the construction of the palace, or, the new palace, or however it's going to play out. But Really enjoyed this season. Definitely looking forward to the next one. But of course, we'll love to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. Like I said, for me, I thought it was really good because it's basically the super quick culmination of a full season and a half. So it was definitely fun. Would have liked to have seen Lotor stay a hero. I'll be honest. I would have liked to have seen that, but I don't mind. It was a really good twist because I was like, crap. And I loved when the woman came out. They gave Lotor that face like, ooh, I am screwed. Like, as soon as he heard her voice, he was just like, oh, I know who that is, and I am boned. So that made me laugh really hard because he freaked out instantly, like, I'm busted. Like, there was just no way out of it. Like, I'm screwed. But really looking forward to where we're going next season. Like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about this one as a whole. We'd love to know your predictions as well and where you guys want to see things headed. What you think of the Shiro resurrection, his full white hair. If you're doing your ship thing still, would love to hear about that as well. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.